Yeah, I mean, it's pretty weird that he would post something like that. I mean, like, it's fucked up that he's doing something like it, but why post a video? Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Fan Fiction Podcast. We are
Hey,
your
wait, hang on. Who's this guy?
I don't know.
This isn't one of us. Wait, who's this? Who's this guy? Let me do this again. Let me do this again. Wait. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode with F1 Fan Fiction. We are your real hosts. I am Akash.
And I'm Sarang.
and I'm today's guest, Anirudh.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Welcome, Anirudh. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Sweet, sweet. So, folks, if you've already not caught it, we've got a guest with us, and you know the drill, right? So, we've got our website now live. If you still haven't, for whatever reason, if you're living under a rock or any other reason that you haven't checked it out yet, go check us out at f1fanfiction.com. You can listen to us on any of your favorite streaming platforms. So feel free to listen to us anywhere that you get your podcast, rate us, comment, do the usual CTA type of stuff. Today's episode is a special episode with our guest. Let's call this fireside chat, and this is first of a series of fireside chats where we'll have guests, potentially also one of our fans who can join us later, and we'll make a series out of this. So this is the first ever episode to a fireside. Also, folks, what we've got for you is a chance to join us at F1 Fan Fiction in F1 Fantasy. So follow us on our Twitter handle at the rate F1 Fanfiction, or our Instagram at the rate F1 Fanfiction, or just come to our website to check us out, where we've got a league code where you can join us, F1 Fan Fiction, in F1 Fantasy throughout the season. So head over, follow us on our social media to get the code and join us in the fun. And to kick us off into the episode, what do you have for us, Anita?
So I don't know if you guys noticed, F1 has also jumped into the NFT craze with some NFTs at Vettel for Vettel first run, Lance first run, and so let's. Do you guys know what NFTs are?
I mean, kind of.
So an NFT is basically a scam, and the scam is that you have a file, and any file that you want to sell to someone, right? Could be a JPEG file, could be an audio file, could be a GIF. I tried to sell an NFT and I was pretty unsuccessful in doing that. So I'll tell you about my experience too. But with NFT, you essentially create a token for your item on the blockchain, on the Ethereum blockchain, and then that token is what gets sold. So on the Ethereum blockchain, you can have contracts where you essentially sell one token and get another token, and one of the token can be money and the other token can be some tokenized form of art. But first of all, that token is completely different from the actual thing. And secondly, there is many Ethereum blockchains. There isn't just one blockchain. So you essentially have this tokenized form of art, and you can exchange it for a Ethereum token, which essentially can be converted to money. But the token is not the real thing, first of all. It's a tokenized form of that art, and it's signed by the key of the person who's selling it.
Wait. So you're telling me that I basically get nothing in return,
You
right?
don't get anything in return. So Jack Dorsey sold his first tweet for 2.5 million. You can just retweet that for free. You can take a screenshot of that. I took a screenshot. I took a big printout of that just to make sure that I could have something physical. But yeah, you can do that. And the worst thing is, it's not even exclusive. If you see the F1 NFTs, the
Mhm.
Vettel first run, they're selling 250 editions of it. So, and each edition,
Makes sense, right? No?
Yeah, definitely.
so they
Yeah.
want to make as much money as possible, right? So
Wow.
I don't know if you guys saw this. Snoop Dogg tried to sell a bunch of NFTs, and he managed to sell some pretty successfully. But there was this one NFT where he tried to sell 20,000 copies for $500. That's just $10 million if he sells them. But I was happy to see that he could only sell less than 500K dollars worth of it.
Yeah, this is another tweet that I saw, that somebody like created these pixel arts of all the teams and all the drivers, and basically they are trying to sell NFTs for those. So basically, you don't even own that art, right? You just own some ghost representation of it. Obviously, nobody has bought anything from his site, but uh, good for him. He spent a lot
I
on
feel like
creating this.
it's a point for creativity at this point, right? Like, what is the most sporadic and the craziest thing you can sell? Is it, can you make money or can you make fools out of people? What wins more is the game. I think that's what NFT is.
And there is also it's pretty interesting how sometimes NFTs are implemented. So sometimes it's a token of the actual bytes of the file.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes they'll host that URL on some website, and then the token is just a token of that link. So if they take that link down for some reason, then you're fucked.
Oh man, it's a crazy world.
Imagine having an auction for this. That's gonna be like the penultimate. Like, okay, now we.
Yeah, I think buying NFT is the ultimate, just showing people that you have fuck you money, because it's like resale value is completely drops to zero immediately. So let me tell you about my experience with trying to sell an NFT. I tried to make an NFT, and just converting, tokenizing that file cost $50 in Ethereum transaction fee. So that is just the transaction. So that's people who are mining or staking Ethereum, and that is just those people making money.
Talking about making money, I've heard that F1 is planning to make a lot of money at Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I think after Hamilton said this dialogue, "Cash is king." I mean, any bit of, what's the word, like, self respect for the sport that it might have, like, let's serve the fans, that's gone away at this point. Cash is king. And on one side they start having discussions about let's race as one and inclusiveness and blah blah blah, and then they go to the only country where everything that they've said is not possible and race there.
Yeah, let's get chopping, man. Let's get chopping. Have you heard about any reporters lately?
Are never mind. I was going to say, are women drivers allowed to race?
Obviously only in Saudi, but they gotta have a male passenger also with them in that.
Just imagine the husband of the woman is like strapped to the engine behind.
Hey, I'm not saying it's only the husband, it could be their newborn child. It has to be a male person. That's about it.
Yeah, so yeah, it's going to. I don't know. I don't agree with it. I'm kind of disappointed with FIA that on one hand they try to bring in some good initiatives, which they started with having that pre-end racism photo shoot that they have. I mean, yeah, it's mostly PR, but at least they are trying to send some message out there. But this is just hypocrisy at its finest.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, for all the hate that I give Hamilton, I mean, this is one stance that I like about him, and he's come out and said this as well, that he
Yep.
recognizes that there is value to being at the position that he is, and if he's not using his position to voice opinions and sway people in the good direction, then what good is that position? And he's doing that. So for all the
Yep.
hate that I have towards him as a probably on the racetrack, this just counterbalances all of it, because at the end of the day he's fighting for the good.
Oh yeah.
But about the Saudi GP, I mean, I don't even like the track. It's literally a NASCAR track gone fancy.
As I said, cars go in a circle. You know.
Is it literally an oval?
Yes, just think of a thing where maybe the NASCAR oval was made by someone who's 20 years old and can draw still straight lines. This one's just drawn by a 2-year old, so the straights are just a bit swiggly. That's about it.
It looks like a hairpin. Like, have you seen like the typical long hairpins that come?
Hmm.
Uh, If you just attach the two open ends. That's about it. That's the track.
I mean, it's got everything, right? It's got two straights, it's got one hairpin turn. That's a pretty interesting track.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty clear why the race is on the calendar, is to fill their pockets. I mean, yeah, nothing much more to say about that.
I mean, but talking about races, what we have 23 races on the calendar or something along those lines. Who at FIA decided to have 3 week gap and then scrum everything together towards the
This
end?
is absolutely stupid. I mean, you have the first race, which was surprisingly very exciting for a first race for F1,
Yeah.
and then absolutely nothing. Crickets, like there's 3 weeks of a gap. Everyone's bored at home. Yeah, I don't get. And did you see the calendar? Towards the end of the season, they have two triple headers. Like,
Yeah.
who was in charge of this?
I mean, I'm guessing it's ground availability or whatever, arena availability and whatnot. But I feel for the drivers and the teams because I mean, while FI is trying to make money out of the scheduling and maybe benefit of doubt to them, whatever they've got going at their end. At the end of the day, anyone who's on the logistics side is having a nightmare.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
The other good part is it's good for us because we get to squeeze in 2 more episodes in this week for our fans. So I am not complaining.
Yep. Yeah, I mean that's not too bad.
What's this? But switching gears, what's this new Extreme E thing that I've been seeing all over the internet?
Hey, Extreme E doesn't have gears, man.
What?
Okay, sorry, that was a bad one. Anyways, yeah, Extreme E. Yeah, that was something. Basically, Extreme E is this new race series for electric SUVs that they have started to, so-called, bring climate change to the forefront and spread awareness of climate change. So they're going to do like 6 races, I think, at all the locations where like the climate change currently can be seen, like the effects of the climate change can currently be seen. I think they have races at it started with Saudi Arabia. I don't know why.
Obviously, okay.
So some desert, I think they wanted to talk about desertification, so obviously they have to go to Saudi Arabia for that. There's no other country which has desert. They did the first race there. The exciting thing about it is that, like, if you see the teams, did you see the qualification for it? It basically was Rosberg versus Hamilton again. I mean, I when I saw the results, I was
Well,
a
they've
little
both got
confused.
teams, right?
Yep, they both have teams. I think Hamilton's team won in this. No, sorry, Rosberg's team won. Hamilton's team took
Mhm.
pole. It was kind of fun. I kind of saw some clips for it. It's a pretty weird format. For qualifications, they change drivers in the race, and they have like one male and one female driver. And for qualification, they have to switch cars. I mean, switch drivers between laps. So they have to do 2 laps, 1 lap with the first driver, and they switch to the second driver.
How many laps do they go? Do they change cars like Formula E, where it can't go the whole race and they have to switch
Or
cars
do
in
they
their
just
two
have
copies?
20 hours of pit stop?
That would be pretty fun, right? Like they drive a entire lap of a couple laps, and then they get into the pit, and then they put on the charger, and everybody's just like sitting, saying,
And imagine it's like a real charging station. So there's only two Tesla superchargers and there's five cars waiting to charge.
and one of the superchargers is being iced by someone.
Yeah. I don't.
Uh,
So, speaking of extreme cars and electric vehicles, first of all, I don't understand in the Venn diagram of people who like extreme cars and people who like electric vehicles. I don't know if there is even an intersection of that. But
Well, apparently there is, right? I think there's this new Hummer that's coming out, right?
yeah, so GMC is coming out with a new electric Hummer. It's going to be like Hummer is the classic little dick midlife crisis car. And I don't know who would want that, who would say that I want a Hummer, but I want an electric version of a Hummer.
I'd buy one. Why not? Because why would I buy a regular car when I can buy something that I have to charge every half a mile? Why not?
And it's going to cost like $150,000.
Wow.
That's
Yeah, when are you getting
uh,
one, Akash?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I get my brains back.
I think we need to start a
Uh,
Patreon soon for this.
Yeah, and they claim that it's going to go more than 300 miles. I don't know how, but let's see.
that would actually not be bad, if they can make a Hummer go as long as 300 miles. I mean, jokes aside, that's actually a good thing. I don't
That,
know how
mhm.
huge the battery on that thing's gonna be and how long it's gonna take to charge that.
Yeah.
But 300 miles for a Hummer, yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. Though as you said, like I can totally imagine it being having like a huge battery, probably like a trailer which it like hauls behind. So
Yeah. I think they're trying to address a similar market as the Cybertruck.
hmm. Oh man,
Oh,
Cybertruck.
that's where they're planning to compete.
What abomination is
Huh.
that truck, man? I don't understand.
I don't know, dude. People seem to like it for some reason.
Hey, I'm on that side. So wait, it's two against one on this recording itself. I like the design.
See?
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I've already converted, man. So
nice. It
I
is I will give it that it is different from any other car I've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely. I can say that. Yes, I can say that.
for me, no. I mean, for me, it's the fact that it's the non-conventional design, and it's not the usual that every OEM tries to do.
Yeah.
um,
Mhm.
Hmm.
and the shape is such that if I go crazy and if I want to run people over, it's like the perfect head-on collision design.
For the sociopath who cares about the environment.
Exactly. Um,
Yeah, I can
but
totally.
coming back to F1 and its controversies, or in quotes, as we've been talking about, you can't take away one of the biggest controversies that started off this year, right? Mazepin.
That guy, that egghead. I don't know what to talk about him. I mean, the whole video that surfaced. I mean, I I don't know where to start. So first of all, the video comes out. I hope everyone knows about what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
awesome.
Jokes apart, I mean, Mazepin. I think it was not the right thing to do. He never should have posted it online. There was a lot of shady stuff that was going on behind this. So apparently, it turns out that when that video came out, obviously there was a lot of outrage. People were asking Haas to drop him as a driver and everything. So there came out a tweet from that girl who was in the video, and she was like saying that we are just friends, it was just a part of the joke and everything. But like obviously redditors were trying to investigate this, and people were like literally following her Twitter, and kind of trying to pick up breadcrumbs from there. So yeah, like a few days later, she was talking a lot, like she was tweeting a lot about how it wasn't okay, she was being threatened and everything, because obviously like Papa Mazepin is pretty much what do you call a Russian oligarch. So you know how it goes.
I know our guest's thoughts on this, because I know we were talking offline about this video with him. So, Ruth, your thoughts on the video?
So, by the way, when I said the video was awesome, I thought you were talking about the video of him spinning off the track.
Yeah, that was definitely
And
awesome.
yeah. And then I was like, shit, that's probably not the right
No,
thing to
don't worry,
say.
we would have edited that out anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty weird that he would post something like that. I mean, like, it's fucked up that he's doing something like it, but why post a video?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
especially when, he's about to make a debut on the world stage, and what made him think that this was probably the right idea?
But then this isn't the first time he's messed up, right? Like, I think as soon as this came out, there were news. I don't know if true or not, but like he's done such stupid stuff in the past as well.
Yeah, I think on and off the track both, because even on track, I think pretty much he was like as we had discussed in the last episode, where you get suspended if you accumulate a lot of penalty points by causing some safety incidents. Mazepin was very close to that. I think he was away just 1 point away from it, to from getting a race ban. And like, he has done a lot of dangerous shit recently, pushing opponents off the road while racing, not leaving space at corners while battling. And yeah, he's not liked around the paddock at all.
I think you have to be an adrenaline junkie to be into F1 racing in the first place. So
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of these people get their kicks from. And he's not thinking that how will this affect my future? How will this affect my long term? He's like, he's in
Yeah.
a speeding car at 300 plus kilometers per hour, right? He doesn't care. That's what
Yeah.
he gets his kick out of.
Yeah, I think the difference between him and others are like, as soon as the others are off the track, their adrenaline subsides and they realize that normal life's
Mhm.
begun. For him, I think it's always there because I'm pretty sure he's spinning off the track, man. I I wouldn't be surprised because he never sees. My concept is he never finishes a race. At least from his F1 career, he never finishes the race. So he still has those laps to finish, and I think he's just doing it off the track.
That makes perfect sense.
But I love Reddit for the memes that he's created. He's created a world record apparently that he's the shortest distance traveled on an F1 track before spinning off. So he wasn't the one driving the car in that video though, right? Like he was on the passenger seat. I
Yeah,
can't
he was on
remember
the
the video
passenger seat.
perfectly.
He was on the passenger
Yeah,
seat.
okay.
Somebody was, so I
Else
think
was
his
there.
face actually doesn't show up in the video.
Yeah.
Just his infamous hand does.
Because he's pretty lost in that video. I mean, if he's the one driving, then this is all the more messed up than just the video part, right? So,
Yeah, I'd seen it long ago. I don't really like recall the details. It's not something that I really want to register in my mind. Yeah.
but I mean, you can't ignore Haas's contribution to the controversies if you're talking about Mazepin, right? I mean, it goes backwards, but then with Haas comes Urakali, and then all the way to Rich Energy, right? It's the long trail of.
Yeah, the surprising thing is, like, when Lance Stroll had come into the sport, everybody was really pissed off. For people who don't know, Lance Stroll is basically the kid of the billionaire Lawrence Stroll, who bought Force India, which originally was Force, sorry, who bought. See, I keep forgetting, man. This team just keeps changing its name. It was Force India just 2 years ago. It was Racing Point
Yeah,
some last year or something, and this year that is Aston
yeah.
Martin Racing. Anyways, so Lance Stroll bought Force India and he named it as Racing Point. That was obviously a temporary name. They were trying to find a better long term deal with some other automotive company that they could collaborate with for branding. And they found, so basically Lawrence Stroll bought Aston Martin. He bought a minority stake in it. So yeah, they decided to rename the team as Aston Martin. But yeah, coming back to the topic, when Lance Stroll came in, everybody was super pissed off, saying that he is just a billionaire's kid. He basically just bought the seat, and there are more deserving people out there and everything. But literally, it's like everything that people earlier blamed Lance for, this guy Mazepin is filling his shoes entirely. Like, uh, everything that people thought Lance would be, Mazepin is making sure that he lives up to that reputation.
The thing with Stroll though is like he's proved himself. I
Oh yeah,
mean,
for sure.
Mazepin's new, although I don't have any hopes from him. Yeah, he's gonna keep spinning anyways. But Stroll's proven himself. So yes, he did get a seat by just buying it, but he's shut his critics down by showing what he can do on the track.
Mhm.
And I was one of those where I was like, oh yeah, nepotism, whatever. But immediately after that, when I actually looked his history and track record up, I mean,
Mhm.
not just F1, I mean, he's done good in the past as well. Yeah, but this guy just spins. So sure. Um, and the sponsors that sort of come in with him too, right? Like Urakali. That's one of the shadiest sponsorship deals that I've ever seen in this sport.
Hey, come on, that's not the shadiest. Haas, I think, pretty much holds the record for all the shady deals that go by
Yeah,
in F1. You remember, right? Rich
rich
Energy,
energy.
which yeah, that was a whole load of bullshit. I mean, when this announcement was made, I remember like there were so many discussions on Reddit about this that people were obviously the keyboard investigators were trying to track down what Rich Energy is, and they basically tried to find their filings with whatever the equivalent is in the UK for SEC, and they found out the address that was registered for the company, and they were looking through Google Street View to find what's actually there. Obviously there was this really shitty building at that address, and nothing really existed, and people were obviously trying to buy even a single can of Rich Energy. They were claiming that they were a competitor of Red Bull, and they had an energy drink which was better, and obviously they wanted to make a team that is better than Red Bull. But yeah, you couldn't even buy a single can of that shit.
Were they based, or did they claim to be based in the US?
I think not. I think they were based off UK. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's not a problem with rich energy. I mean, their business might have been doing good, but then Haas was so underperforming that they lost all their money and the company itself went bankrupt.
Oh man, had you seen that CEO, that guy, that something William Story, I
Yeah,
think his name was, and yeah, what a story he had made. That guy, first of all, looked, I don't know, like a Amish guy started a business or something like that, because you saw his beard, right? It was like right up till
yeah,
here, and that guy, it's everything is shady about it. I mean, a lot of people say that he wasn't actually even the CEO. He probably was just hired to play that role. This moreover seemed like a money laundering scheme, that somebody was just trying to wash their hidden earnings or something like that. But I mean, that goes on in F1 with all teams. I mean, what do you think mission win now is? What do you think that a better tomorrow or whatever that is? No, something that McLaren also has some shady sponsor like that, right? I think it's basically a
yeah.
tobacco company masking as another company because F1 banned tobacco and alcohol advertising.
Yeah, and they can't have Mission Winnow on their livery, so they're just trying these weird vomit color stuff on the livery to make it look like Mission Winnow. Like, we just dropped paint. Um, but yeah, rich energy. I mean, I obviously decided not to spend too much time on them. I mean, all my interactions of Haas's shady stuff has been through Drive to Survive. Most of it, I mean, other and me getting curious after that. But yeah, that rich energy stuff was some good stuff. But then came Urakali, so
Oh wow, that is some. I mean, that is brilliant. I mean, I respect them for you know the ingenuity that they put in. That just change the logo of the company so that we can put the Russian colors on the car. It makes perfect sense.
right. I mean, some background here before we again start rambling, but like basically because of the anti-doping, all the other sports stuff that Russia's been accused of, the Russian flag basically is banned from sports, and so is it from F1, and you can't have it on the liveries or anywhere else. But the ingenuity that Urakali is, they just changed their logo design to look like a Russian flag. And well, now you are my sponsor, so I gotta have your logo on the car. Well, my American car now looks like a Russian flag.
That's what I love about it, man. It's the only American team on the track, and it is covered in Russian colors. I love the irony here.
So what makes them American?
So basically, Haas, Gene Haas, who is the owner of Haas, which is a CNC company, I think, right? And I think they're pretty famous here. I think Gene Haas has been involved in motorsports in NASCAR, I think, a lot. And I think after spending a couple years, having a pretty good team actually in NASCAR, Gunther Steiner, who is basically the team principal of Haas, kind of approached him to start a new team. in F1, and then he decided to, why not? Like, we have been successful at NASCAR, we can do this at F1 as well. But apparently, not, as you can see with what's happening right now.
So speaking of NASCAR, what do you guys and what does the typical F1 fan think of NASCAR?
I can't comment too much because now we're gonna have the Saudi Arabia race, which is NASCAR 2.0. So
Vietnam was also kind of going to be that way. You remember that, like triangle
yeah,
shape.
two long straights.
NASCAR, I think people, at least F1 fans, are not big fans of NASCAR as far as it goes, because I mean, you just take a left turn and
There is no step two.
yeah, and you finish the race. That's it.
Yeah. I don't know why it's NASCAR is considered more of a white trash racing. And
Yeah,
I guess it's because probably of the people who go to see those races.
yeah, I feel like F1 has a classier audience.
Clearly, right?
I can hear the keyboard keys clicking right now. People are furiously emailing us.
But no, I mean my only positive thing about NASCAR is the endurance because it's what
Oh,
like some
yeah.
crazy number of laps that you go around, right? So that's the only good part about that race, that it's actually endurance of being in that car.
No, but actually, it does take a lot of skill. I mean, if you look at the races, a lot of the skill in the sport is about just maintaining your pace and keeping the right distance behind the car ahead of you, because you want to gain as much draft as you can, and when the moment is right, you go for that overtake. And overtakes in NASCAR are crazy. They are you know just flying by the track at full throttle throughout the race, and there's no margin of error at all.
Yeah. Plus the pit stops aren't as civilized as F1. Yeah, I mean I've seen tires flying off and hitting some guy who's trying to
Yep.
change a tire. I'm like, dude, what? Where's safety in this?
I feel like there is an element of safety in having a nice roof over your head though
Yeah.
that you don't get in F1.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I Yeah. And one more thing, I think they have a shorter crew. I think they just have one guy doing everything, or two guys. One guy is like refueling and one guy's changing the tires. And he's running around the car changing all the tires. It's yeah. They sometimes start refueling even before the car stops, like while it's starting to pit. One of the pit shop workers like runs and tries to loosen the or open the flap for the fuel so that they can get a small head start with that.
NASCAR is the same one. I mean, I agree that I haven't seen much, but NASCAR is the same one where the driver also gets out when all of this is happening, right? Because it takes quite some time. Or is that a different sport? I can't remember. There's so many car racing sports.
I think we just lost a few hundred people.
Come back, yo. We'll go back to F1 stuff. Come back. NASCAR is amazing. It's like, oh, why don't I see it more?
You might as well see the marble races.
Oh yeah,
Those are fun.
Have you seen those?
a few. I don't. I can't say I have many.
I've
There's
seen
this
exactly one. I feel like they're all the same.
well, yeah, it obviously is. It's Yeah, but it's pretty fun, I mean, there's this channel. I mean, for people who don't know, there's this channel on YouTube. I think these are these two Dutch guys who run that channel, and I think I don't know how to pronounce it because it's a Dutch name, but Jelles. Yelles, I don't know how it's pronounced. Anyways, something marble runs, someone's marble runs, and they basically have this track, and they basically use gravity to run those marbles through the track, and at the end of the track they have this conveyor belt which gets those marbles back to the start at the top, and then Yeah, the marbles keep rolling around. So I think back when Formula E and Formula One was, due to coronavirus last year, it was delayed and races were. It was pretty uncertain when the next race is going to be. These guys kind of partnered up with Formula E, and they basically got the rights for all the graphic overlays for Formula E, the team names and everything. And they were pretty much running, all the different GPs with like proper commentary and everything. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, they've brilliantly done it. It sounds silly, but yeah, it's pretty
No,
fun.
it's weird. For me, it was a bit weird in the sense that I'm actually confused how the white marble got over and ahead of the green marble. I mean, I'm just taking color names, but you get the point. Because it's just two marbles. How is one overtaking the other if gravity works the same on both? But yeah, and then the green overtakes white again. So it's not at all monotonous.
Yeah, I think
I-
they've to to their credit, I think they do a good job designing an interesting track and
Mhm.
also just making it interesting with the commentary.
Oh
I think
yeah.
the track sometimes kind of splits the marbles into
Uh-huh.
different parts, and that's why they
Yep.
can one of them can come ahead. I mean, there's also a lot of skill involved, obviously.
yeah, no, but the other fun part to add to that point, Ruth, is that they also make like a grandstand and audience made out of marbles too, right, in the background.
Oh yeah, yes, yes, they do that.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, guys, check it out on YouTube. Search for Marble Runs. Yeah, it's pretty entertaining. I mean,
Yeah,
you
that's
haven't
pretty
got
cool.
anything to do in this break, anyways, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
three
apart from
weeks
listening to this
gap.
podcast. So yeah, did you watch Drive to Survive, by the way?
Yeah, that and then all the drama that the DTS likes to put it in. I feel
Yeah.
like at some point they over exaggerate. Like season three was just some dramatic music playing in the background and something going on.
Yeah, it's pretty much a Hollywood movie. I mean, that's what it's designed for, right? Like, I think it's a smart move overall to rope in new fans. Netflix is the new thing in, so like everybody is, nowhere to go at, at the moment. So people are on Netflix. I think it makes sense to invest so much in making this documentary. I don't want to call it a documentary. It's I don't know what to call it. Anyways, though, I mean, yeah, they add the drama because they want to get attention of new fans so that people start following. I feel it's in a way good for the sport. I mean, they do over dramatize stuff, they do create these storylines which don't exist, but overall I think it's good for the sport. As more people watch, I think that will only bring more.
Yeah, I guess like cringe is what probably sells. They know that, and for someone like us, we are anyways watching the sport, so we may not like the series, even though maybe we watch it or not. But like, I'm pretty sure they've done their market research and they know that this is what gets fans
Mhm.
drawn to or creates new fans, right? So sure, this is probably what's working.
Did you watch Cyril in Drive to Survive?
Yeah, dude. At one point, I literally was the director should go not cut, but like pause, and then be like, "Just cry, dude. Just cry. Take 5 minutes
it
and
seemed
cry."
it seemed as if he was going through a breakup or something, man. Like he's just gotten off a very long relationship.
Yeah, I think Christian or someone even mentioned it. It's just like seeing a very sad breakup or seeing your girlfriend just go away, but she's still gonna be around, sort of thing, or something like that. And it felt like that. The way he was just talking about the whole Ricardo departure from Renault, man.
And what and do you remember about the whole tattoo bit that was going on with Ricardo? And apparently Cyril
Yeah.
was going to get a tattoo if Ricardo gets a podium with Renault. And obviously he did, right? And
Yeah.
so uh, I remember Drive to Survive also like showed a lot about this. And obviously he didn't do any tattoo. That guy, I don't know what happened to him. Did he get fired or something? Where is he now?
Yeah, I think he probably got mixed up in some Renault French politics and got shown the boot with the change in teams, and probably his emotional side also took over. I don't know what went behind. Yeah, I think he got shown the boot for sure.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense to me because Renault wasn't doing so good ever since they joined, but just recently they had made some progress, and it felt
Yeah.
like Cyril was probably making some progress with the team, and then right when they were rebranding, yeah, he's off the team.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on there. But it's like what Alpine now in.
Hmm.
Yeah, let's see what happens with them. But there's more controversy in and around F1 anyways, right? Like as we've also spoken in our first race limits, FIA, there's just some shady stuff happening there. I don't know if they came back and actually made any stricter laws around race limits, but there was this very funny meme where there is a cute comic cartoon saying Max is gonna win this race, and then there's cut to two huge built guys. One's marked Hamilton, one's marked FIA, both beating this cute comic down, and that's exactly what happened in the first race.
Yeah, I don't get it. These guys look like a bunch of amateurs. I don't understand what are these guys doing. It's a simple thing, create a rule before the race, stick to the rule, apply the rule irrespective of who the driver is, and let the race end in peace. I don't understand what games FI is trying to play. It spoils the sport. It adds nothing to it.
Is FIA owned by Mercedes? I'm just confirming. I don't know. Maybe it is. I mean, I'm just trying to give the benefit of doubt to FIA. Does Mercedes like even pay their salaries? Maybe. I don't
Probably Toto owns it. Do you know that Toto also owns a part of Aston Martin Racing?
know. Okay. So then Aston Martin's never gonna beat Mercedes. Okay. So what else? Let's now. I think we can just predict who's gonna win that championship if we just go by this logic.
Yeah, it's crazy. F1 is filled with such oddities. I mean, that is such a clear conflict of interest. He should never be allowed to own stake
Yeah.
in a competitor while he is the team principal of one team and owns, a third of the Mercedes F1 team. So cash is king.
Yeah, and he says in Drive to Survive. Oh yeah, cash is king for sure. And he says in Drive to Survive too, right? Like I don't think he plans to quit the sport anyways. I mean, he's got vested interest so much into the sport now that he'll just probably become one of those advisors or somewhere off screen. But he's never leaving the paddock.
Is that like a threat? It seems like a threat.
I mean, no comments. But yeah, I mean, speaking of, I know we touched on this, right? Like who decided to have a 3 week gap and all that, and something that we missed to bring up then was besides the 23 races and the crazy amount of scramming that's gonna happen this year, we are also gonna see sprint races.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's something new that these guys are trying. I think as a part of again appealing to more people, making every day a little bit more interesting because traditionally the Friday is not as fun as Saturday and Sunday in a race weekend because you just have practice sessions on Friday. So a lot of casual fans are not that interested in those races. That also drives down the ticket sales a bit for race weekends. I mean, right now there are no ticket sales, but so I think this is a good time for them to test this out. But they are essentially trying to introduce sprint races. So how it will work out is, I think Friday there will be a qualification session. Based on that qualification session, the grid will have a sprint race on Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, and sprint race is essentially a shorter race where you wouldn't have a pit stop. It's a sprint race, and so I think that the details are unclear. They haven't like made an official announcement about it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, and that too is a bit shady, right? Because they don't know, they haven't come out and said what prize money. I mean, everyone's rooting for that prize money at the end of the
Uh-huh.
day, and then they don't know how points and prize money and championship table and all those things that reward you for the race
Yeah.
are gonna work, and how that's gonna fit in with the main F1 race.
Yep. I think I heard that FI is gonna give out some money to all teams for repairs, because this is basically an additional burden on all teams, right? And
Yeah,
if like they crash their car or something during the race, that's going to cost them a lot of money. So I think FIA is kind of giving some kind of an insurance for these teams, that if any crashes occur or something, they'll pay up to a certain amount to kind
sure.
of make it a little bit easier for them.
Sure, but for me, I mean, it's still in that realm of FIA playing shady because, I mean, I change a power unit for a sprint race. Can I keep it for the main race? Because now I have a new power unit,
I
right?
really hope
So
FIA is crystal clear about the rules related to this.
I guess we'll only find out if Mercedes is winning or not. That's where the rule comes in.
Oh yeah, let's see. I Let's hope. I mean, I'm hoping that this would be fun. But I'm kind of a little skeptical about it. Let's see how it rolls out.
For folks, we still have our guest online. He's with us. Uh,
Hey Anirudh.
Hey everyone. Yeah, I'm happy to just listen to you all and learn more about F1.
Well, folks, that was yet another episode from F1 Fan Fiction. If you've made it this far, we've got a special surprise for you. The first person to reach out to us at either contact us at the rate f1fanfiction.com or on any of our social media platforms or anywhere, the first person to reach out to us gets a special NFT from F1 Fanfiction. So DM us or just reach out to us. But this is F1 Fan Fiction signing off. It was amazing having Anirudh as our guest. And yeah, check us out on any of your favorite streaming platforms. Stay tuned for more episodes. Next weekend is a race weekend, so we are totally excited about it. One of the vintage tracks, Imola, comes back in F1
Woohoo!
2021. So until next week and the race week, this is us signing off.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thanks for having me, guys. Fan fiction.